What is up, family? Peace, peace, peace. What is up? It's your girl, Desiree D. Ray Wise, spiritual healing coach, and I am back. It has been a while since I've been live, but I have some good news for you today. I have some good information for you today that is really going to support you in managing all of this powerful energy that is present right now. Okay. Today, we're going to be talking about the solar eclipse that is happening tomorrow. And I want to share with y'all what this energy has actually brought up inside of me. And I want to give you all the beauty of it, the wonder of it, and why it's a good thing. Okay. So, first off, let me just say, I missed you all, right? I missed you all. It's been a while since I've been live, a few weeks. I mean, I've done the Sacred Sister Circle podcast, but that's different, right? So make sure that you watch the Sacred Sister Circle podcast and make sure that you're a part of our Patreon family. If you ever have that feeling like, damn, where's D-Ray been? I want to talk to her. Join Patreon, because at least in Patreon, you'll be able to talk to me twice a week, right? We'll be able to talk to each other twice a week. So you can join there. So let's get into this information, okay? The solar eclipse, essentially what is happening with the solar eclipse is the moon, right? A new moon, right? Covers the sun. It blocks the sunlight, okay? And the time leading up to the solar eclipse is typically very tumultuous, right? It's a lot of energy, it's a lot of emotions, it's a lot of trials and tribulations that come up leading to the solar eclipse, okay? Or any eclipse, let's just say it like that, all right? And so for me, leading up to this solar eclipse last week, I experienced so much emotions and a lot of thoughts and just a lot of back and forth between my higher and my lower self. Okay. Why does this happen? This happens because when we think about the moon represents that darkness, right? That shadow self. The sun represents the light, right? That's your light self. That's your loving self. That's that part of you that you show everybody that you are okay with being seen. But when a solar eclipse happens, that light is covered by the darkness, meaning the unconscious beliefs, traumas, old things that have not been healed covers up that light energy, covers up that vibrancy, covers up the higher self. Your lower nature covers up what it is you are striving to be and become. The higher self, that God you, that part of you that is brilliant, that is bold, that is beautiful, that shines bright, and is okay with being seen, gets covered, it gets shadowed by your lower nature, those low vibrational thoughts, those thoughts of lack, those feelings of not being good enough, all of the shadow aspects, right, that you've been working on, that you've been dealing with. All of those things cast a shadow over your light. It casts a shadow over your sun. This is the solar eclipse. Okay? And so leading up to the solar eclipse, there is this battle that is happening between the higher and the lower self. And I'm just so grateful. I'm grateful to God. I'm grateful to the divine. I'm grateful to my higher self, to my soul energy, to that divine energy that dwells inside of me. I'm grateful that I'm able to have my experiences and then have the revelation and things be revealed to me so that I understand why it happens, how to grow from it, how to allow it to evolve me and support me, and then ultimately me share it back with you. Okay? Go ahead and put a 1 or something in the chat. Give me a 1 or a check mark in the chat if you understand what I just expressed to you pertaining to the solar eclipse. It is your darkness, your shadow, your moon, your emotion, your unconscious mind shadows that light part of you. It shadows the vibrant you. It shadows that conscious person that you're becoming. Okay? Give me some sort of symbol. Okay, we're getting some ones, we're getting some checks. We're understanding. Okay. Thank you. All right. Thank you. I want to make sure that we get that. And with this solar eclipse being in Aries, this is talking about your fire. This is talking about your motivation. This is talking about you going after what it is you've been called to do and what it is you've been called to be. But with this energy, with the trials and tribulations that always appear before the solar eclipse, you start to feel lost. I was feeling lost last week. Last week, I was feeling lost. I was feeling emotional. I was confused. I was questioning my enoughness. I was questioning my worthiness. I was questioning my value. I was questioning who I am and what I'm doing. I was like, what is going on? I felt like I was in this in-between realm. That's what it was. And I remember, y'all, and I shared this with the Sacred Sister Circle, but I cried last week. I cried for a few, on and off between like 10 a.m. to like 1, 2 o'clock. I cried on and off because all of those shadow aspects, all of those emotions, all of that moon energy, all of that dark feminine energy, all of it was coming up. All of it was coming up. And I was just like, oh my God. But I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for the work that I've done up until this point because I didn't resist it. I allowed myself to feel it. Shout out to my life partner, my love, Dream Wise, because he sat with me and we talked for a while and he just let me cry. And he just really nurtured me and cared for me as I went through that process. And shout out to the Sacred Sister Circle, because when I was having all of those emotions, I was able to really share how I was feeling and be vulnerable with the Sacred Sister Circle. In the Sacred Sister Circle, everybody just uplifted me and gave me what I needed to hear. But I'm so excited to share with you now the revelation and the aha, right? So let's talk about the solar eclipse. See, everything has already been written, And a lot of times when we come into spirituality, we want to throw the Bible away. We like throw the baby out with the bathwater. I don't want anything to do with religion. But the Bible is actually a great book. And I've had experiences with the Bible twice this week where my eyes have been opened and I've just been like, I see you, Spirit. There's a Bible verse, Matthew 24, 29 through 21. And I don't know the words verbatim, but it basically talks about, it says, there are trials and tribulations that will show up before the sun is covered by the moon. Actually, let me go ahead. I'm gonna do a good job. I'm gonna go the extra mile here, and I am going to get those words because I want you to understand. Do you understand? Hey, do you understand? I want you to understand. I want you to understand what's actually happening right now so that you can create that inner peace. See, the solar eclipse happens right before the second coming. Come on, Spirit. Ooh, I want y'all to feel me. The solar eclipse happens before the second coming. The second coming meaning Jesus' return, meaning Christ consciousness. That's when the solar eclipse happens. Okay? The solar eclipse is symbolic of you rising up to your higher divine mind. It's you rising up, right? We all know the story of Jesus. It's you living as Jesus lived. It's you embodying that energy. It's you connecting to your divinity and shaping your life around that. That is what this energy is. And the solar eclipse happens before that. But right before the solar eclipse happened, a lot of trials and tribulations come up. This is when you start to question your divinity. You start to question your power. You start to question your abilities. You start to question that God energy that dwells inside of you. Come on. Let me get a check, a fire sign. Let me get something in the chat. to let me know that you understand what I'm telling you. Tomorrow is the solar eclipse. So right after the solar eclipse is symbolic of God's return. And this ain't talking about the end of the world. This is talking about you returning to the fullness of who you are. This is talking about you aligning with your power. But before it happens, you got to go through some things. You got to have some trials. You got to have some tribulations. Things have to happen for you to remember who you are. See, last week when I was feeling emotional and I was crying and I was up and down and I was questioning my worthiness, in that moment, I have forgotten who I was because I was more connected to my old self, my lower self, the thoughts of lack, the feelings of not being enough. That's my old self. Or in other words, in religious terms, we will call it the devil. Okay? I was leaning more into those old thoughts of not being enough, of not being worthy enough. And here's the thing. You have to have those experiences so that you can remember who you are and you can walk in that light. See, it has to get to that level because otherwise you just be coasting through life. You just be going la 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 la, all aloof, right? So it has to get to that level where you experience some emotion, you experience some hurt, you question yourself. It has to get there so that you can be brought back to your power. Okay? All right? We in here. So let me read this Bible verse to y'all. It says, immediately after the tribulation of those days, okay, the sun will be darkened and the moon will not give its light. The stars will fall from heaven. The powers of the heaven will be shaken. Then will appear in heaven the sign of the Son of Man. And then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming of the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he will send out his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Okay? You know, when you get in alignment with your higher self, with that God energy that dwells inside of you, honey, you have impact. You have influence. You shift the people around you. You support the healing and transformation of those around you. The angels rejoice. Your ancestors are rejoicing. You end up being this beam of light in this world of darkness, right? You end up just really embodying that Christ consciousness, right? Christ is a state of mind. It's an internal state of being. It is who you were destined to be. It is who you are destined to live as, right? It is the way you're supposed to move through life with a certain level of power, strength, and knowing and connection to source and connection to God. That is you. But some tribulations happen. And then that solar eclipse happened. The sun gets covered up by the moon, symbolizing it is your time to rise up. We got a solar eclipse happening tomorrow. Are you ready? Are you ready to rise up? And let me tell you about this rising up. This rising up happens in your mental and in your emotional and in your actions. Okay? That's how this thing rises up. This is how you show up. You show up by thinking from your higher divine mind. This means you're thinking thoughts of abundance. You're thinking thoughts of love. You're thinking thoughts of good fortune. This means that you're moving through life with a certain level of trust, and you are letting that energy, you're letting that embodiment, you're letting that shine outward. Okay? And you are allowing that energy to impact, influence, and shift your circumstances and the people around you. That's what that means. This means you're vibrating from a place of love, a place of gratitude, a place of certainty. And it causes a domino effect of positivity and goodness and in your life and in the lives of anybody that is associated with you. This is that great glory, right? This is you coming from the heavens. This is you being in alignment with your higher divine self. Let me get a check. Are we ready to move on? Because I got to tell y'all, okay? I got to tell y'all how these trials and tribulations are showing up, okay? I got to tell y'all how these trials and tribulations are showing up, all right? So they're showing up as, so what I like to call it, here's a great way to think about it, okay? You have your higher and your lower self. You have your higher and your lower self. Your higher self, we can think about that as the angel that's on your shoulder, right? That's the angel that is in your ear. This is your alignment with the divine. This is you walking in your power. This is you doing your aligned work. This is you living from a space of peace. This is you in flow. This is you in ease. This is you taking inspired action. This is you well rested. This is you confident. This is you assertive. This is you trusting the process. This is you knowing that everything is working out in your favor. That's the angel. That's the higher self that's on your shoulder. And then on the other side of the shoulder, you know, you got the demon, you got the devil, you got your lower self. We all have it. Stop thinking that any of this is outside of you. It is not outside of you. It is all within you. The angel and demon, they are both you. The only thing that is important is, what are you giving more energy and focus to? And in this space and time before the solar eclipse, we tend to give more focus and energy to that lower nature. That's the moon. That's the darkness. That's the shadow that is covering the light. Okay? So we don't want to think about this as negative, because then we cast a judgment and then we continue to recreate that judgment. So this is not a negative thing. This is actually a gift, because you have to be able to see your lower nature for you to understand what your higher nature is. Okay? You got to be able to see the two. You got to be able to observe the two and not get attached. You have to understand that the pendulum always swings. There are going to be days when you are feeling great. You on your shit. You can't nobody tell you nothing. You walking in your power. And then there'll be another day where you feel like shit. You don't feel like doing shit. You like, I'm just done. I don't know what's going on. You in your low vibrational bag. You have to have both experiences so that you learn to honor and cherish the depth of who you are. Okay? All right? So the lower nature, this is the thoughts of lack. This is the thoughts of not being enough. This is the frustration. This is the overworking. This is the restlessness. This is the worry. This is the dissatisfaction. This is the self-sabotage. This is the discontentment with life. This is, I don't know what's going on. What is happening with my life? And I was just there last Thursday. I'm coming to you right now from full experience. I'm not coming to you talking to you from theory. I'm coming to you with full experience right now, okay? I'm coming to you from the experience of it all, okay? From the experience of it all, this is where I'm coming to you from, okay? So can I share with y'all my story, right? Just last week. Can I share with y'all my story from last week? Y'all let me know. I know I can, because that's why you're here. All right. I love you all. Thank you. And I see my brother in the chat. I love you. I'm so glad that I get to speak to you today. C. Waller, 11. I'm so glad that I get to speak to you today. Thank you for being here. I just adore you so much. I'm so happy that I get to speak with you today. Okay. And all of y'all as well. But you know, when your little brother comes in the building and they stay on, you like, oh, okay, I get to show out. Okay. Yes. All right. So Dream and I are entrepreneurs, right? We're also parents, and you know, we be busy as hell, right? We be busy, we be active. And as a mom and as a wife and as a business owner, it's a lot, right? It's a lot. And so on Thursday, I woke up and like the first question I asked myself is like, what's going on? I was like all in self-pity. I was just like, why do I feel like this? I don't feel like I'm doing anything. You see, I was raised to be very goal oriented, right? Go get it. You got to accomplish that. You got to do that. You got to make sure. So if I'm not doing nothing, I'm feeling down on myself. If I'm not contributing financially, if I'm not contributing in my home, if I'm not taking care of these kids, if I'm not doing all of that stuff, I'm not feeling good about myself. But that's my old self. That was who I was raised to be. To always have to do for the family, to always be, worrying about how much money you making. Like that's who I was raised to be, as most of us were. Okay. But Spirit had told me in November of last year, Spirit was like, I don't want you to worry about your business and worry about what you're going to do with this and what you're going to do with this. Spirit was just like, I just want you to focus on your home, focus on the home that is you, right? Your body, focus on your spirit, focus on your house. Spirit was just like, just focus on that. And then when I channel into you, right? When I give you an idea for a class, when I give you an idea for a video, you just do it. That's what Spirit had told me in November of 2022. Are you following me? So I was like, okay, Spirit, I'm going to do it. That was my higher self calling me to a deeper level of trust. Let me get you to understand. My higher self, the God that dwells inside of me, was calling me and is calling me to a deeper level of trust, meaning only do work that is in alignment with your higher self. Only create when you receive that divine intuitive message. Only create in love and in honoring and in power, not out of necessity. Okay? Because as humans, we be programmed. We got to work, because we got bills to pay. We got kids to take. We got all of that. But Spirit was calling me to a higher level of trust to say, if I just do what I've been called to do, if I just speak my message when I'm called to speak it, everything is going to work out divinely. And so for the past 3 weeks or so, I hadn't been live. I hadn't been posting. I hadn't been delivering no messages. I ain't been doing nothing. So I'm questioning myself. I'm like, damn, all I've been doing is washing clothes and washing dishes and folding clothes and cooking and all of that. That's all I've been doing. And I was starting to feel unworthy and unvaluable, not valuable, however you say it. I was starting to feel all of that. And so Thursday, I woke up and I was just in that bag of like, damn, what am I doing? I feel lost. Like, Spirit, why are the downloads and the channels and the classes and this, why is it not coming through? Why am I not being given that guidance, that understanding? What's happening? And then, here's where it got so powerful. I was on my phone and I was sending a message to the Sacred Sister Circle. I was telling them how I was feeling. Shout out to my Sacred Sister Circle. I was telling them how I was feeling. And 12:12, the time 12:12 popped up on my phone. And immediately what came to mind was, what would D-Ray do? Or what would Jesus do? Or what would your higher divine self do? What would that part of you that is confident, that is assertive, that is abundant, that is glowing, that is shining, that is at peace with herself, that is at peace with the world, what would she do right now? While she's feeling all of these emotions, what would she do? How would she shift her reality? What would your higher self do? That's the question that came to my mind. And that's the gift, okay? See, when you are overindulging in your lower nature, in your lower self, and you're thinking those thoughts of lack and not being good enough and the struggling, you're in that battle. And you know that the emotions that you're feeling, the thoughts that you're having are not in alignment with what you are desiring. You got to stop and ask yourself, what would my higher self do? Or as Iman would say, what would love do? If I was moving from a place of love instead of a place of fear, what would I do in this moment? Who would I be in this moment? Y'all, I cried that day. But after I had that 12-12 and Spirit gave me that message, honey, I was like, all right, I'm about to wash these dishes. I'm about to fold these clothes, and I'm going to do it with a cheerful spirit. I turned on my music as I washed the dishes. I was like, okay, Spirit, all right. And I'm breathing and I'm getting into my bag and I'm like, okay, I got this. I went to go fold those clothes. I listened to some Michael Beckwith and I'm like, okay, let me fill my spirit up with something that is going to uplift me and empower me. See, when you are having those experiences of you being in your lower nature, it is not for you to stay there. This is the battle between the old self and the new self. This is the battle between the lower self and the higher self. This is the battle between who you used to be and who you are becoming. See, who I'm becoming is a woman who just trusts and who just teaches and who just loves and who just flows, whose house is always in order, whose house is always spick and span. And even when it's not, I still see order. Okay. Even when it's in chaos, it's still all good and well. Right. That's who I'm becoming. I'm becoming the woman who I don't got to do nothing. I don't have to do nothing. But because I live a life of purpose, a life of power, a life of prosperity, hell, people just be buying stuff. People just be getting them classes. Honey, they be buying classes I ain't taught in years. Okay? That's the woman I'm becoming, right? And that I am, right? But the emotions that I was feeling at that time, that was my old self. That was the part of me that said, oh, I got to work. I got to grind if I want to make money. I got to be posting and creating if I want to get people to buy my classes. I got to be doing this. I got to be doing that. I got to clean this house if I want to be valuable. See, that was my old self. Okay? That was the old self. All right? So you have to have this battle between the old self and the new self to allow the Christ consciousness, your divine self, to rise up. Listen, if everything was all good, why would a Christ consciousness even exist? If there were no adversary, if there were no lower nature, if that did not exist, why would there need to be a savior? Why would there need to be Christ? Why would that even exist if there was no adversary? So what does that tell us? That tells us that the good and the bad are always present. The higher and the lower self are always present. Okay? But which one of those qualities and energies about yourself are you leaning more into? Okay. In this time leading up to the solar eclipse, you are able to see clearly where you need to go in the aspects of yourself that you have to release. And so what I realized with myself, and I told this to Dream, because he was like, babe, you don't got to be worried about those things. You don't even got to think about those things. I just want you to take care of you, take care of the house, just do that, take care of the kids, me, da, 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 da. And I told him, I said, I know that though. Like come on, Spirit. The core of me knows that. The depths of me knows that. But there's also those lingering memories and residue of that old self that you got to work hard, you got to grind, you got to damn near break your back if you want anything out of this world, because that's the rhetoric we've been taught. We have been taught that you got to break your back. You got to work yourself down to the bone if you want to receive anything in this reality. And so I told him, in the moment I was in this space of confusion and going back and forth between my higher self and my lower self, the part of me that knows and the part of me that feels like I have to work for everything that I have. Okay? So that's happening right now. So let's get into how we actually resolve this and how we actually rise up into our higher consciousness. How do we actually dwell in that higher consciousness? Because, baby, let me tell y'all, you can't tell me nothing today, okay? You couldn't tell me nothing on Friday, right? All of that, all of the emotions and the crying, that happened last Thursday. Baby, on Friday, I was reborn, baby, okay? On Friday, I was resurrected, okay? See, a lot of times y'all think these Bible verses are talking about something or someone that is outside of you, and this is about you. How are you resurrecting? How are you rising from the dead? How are you rising from those things that no longer serve you? How are you allowing yourself to be reborn into a new state of being? Because that's what happened to me. See, I was complaining at that time, like I haven't been creating, I haven't been shining my light, I haven't been teaching, I haven't been giving. What have I been doing? But immediately when I surrendered that and I moved into trust and I moved into, okay, who am I being called to be? Who am I destined to be? When I aligned my thoughts and my emotions with that state of being, I'm here doing a video with y'all now. Let me get some fire. Let me get some fire in the chat if this video is on point. If this video is resonating, let me get some fire in the chat. Let me get some fire in the comments. Because I'm able to be here today and have this conversation with you today and give you this power, give you this upliftment, give you this encouragement. I'm able to give it to you because I surrendered and I trusted and I leaned into my higher divine God self. I gave more attention. I'm giving more attention to who I'm called to be and not who I'm used to be. See, if I was still thinking about who I used to be and I got to work hard and I got to grind and I got to do all of this, I wouldn't be able to make this video. I wouldn't be able to make the video because I would be having to, I would be too logic and reasoning. See, when you lean into the higher self, when you lean into spirit, it don't got to make logic and reasoning sense. You just open yourself up to be a vessel for God, your higher self, to operate through, and then things start to work out magically. This is magic, okay? This is magic, me speaking before you today. Because just last week, I was like, I don't know what is going on. Like, I'm a speaker. I'm a teacher. I'm damn near a preacher, and I ain't gave no sermon recently. What am I doing? Okay? But when I let it go and I said, you know what? Let me just lean into who I'm being asked to become. Let me focus on my healing and my transformation and this new belief, this new emotion. Now I got a powerful message for you. All right? So let's talk about how we actually lean into our higher selves, lean into our higher nature, connect more with that God energy that dwells inside of us. How do we live as Christ lived? How do we live as the Christ consciousness? Let's lean into that, right? Let's lean into that. I'm going to just tell you what I've been doing. I'm going to tell you what was downloaded and what was given to me. All right? Last night before I went to bed, this is so freaking divine. Last night before I went to bed, I had grabbed the Bible because I told myself, I said, you know what? I'm going to start decoding stories in the Bible and helping it to make sense for people so that people can understand and apply it to their lives, right? Because a lot of times we think that everything is outside of us, but everything is happening inside of you. And so I grabbed the Bible last night. It's like 10 o'clock at night. Everybody's sleeping in the house. And in my mind, I was like, yeah, I want to read something from Psalms, right? And I didn't plan this, but I opened up the book and it went to Psalms. This was so good. I was like, I see you. Opened up the book and went to Psalms 127. And went to Psalms 127. And what I read was so freaking good and it was so in alignment. I was just like, oh my God, right? I was just like, see, listen. When you start to trust, when you start to lean in, baby, you be surprised, right? You be surprised. You gotta let yourself be surprised. So I'm gonna read Psalms 127 for y'all so I can help you to understand how to lean into your higher nature, right? How to lean into your higher self, how to align with God that dwells inside of you, how to live as that Christ consciousness, because that is how you're supposed to live. You are here to save yourself. You save yourself by raising up your consciousness, raising up your awareness, raising up how you think, raising up how you feel, raising up how you show up in life. This is your work. This is what you're meant to do. All right. So Psalms 127, 1 through 5. It says, except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Ooh, I read that. I was like, what? They labor in vain that build it. Y'all let me know in the chat. Have any of you ever been working hard? You working hard, you grinding, and then you like, this shit ain't yielding no results. I don't feel no better. Ain't no manifestations coming to pass. Things ain't showing up in my life. Have you ever just worked on something and just been like, why? Y'all let me know. Because we about to talk about it. Because I'm telling you, when I read this verse, I was like, I see you, Spirit. I see you. But it said, except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh in vain. It is vain for you to rise up early and sit up late to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he giveth his beloved sleep. Let's keep going. It says, children are a heritage of the Lord. Now, this was a big deal for me. I'm going to tell y'all why in the future, right? Children are an heritage of the Lord, meaning children, birthing children are the heir of God. Okay, we'll keep going. And the fruit of the womb is his reward. If you know, you know. Okay, if you know, you know. The fruit of the womb is his reward. I'm going to be talking about the fruit of the womb at the Master Student Conference. Let me pause. I'm saying Master Student Conference. Excuse me, y'all. The Mystic Mind Conference. I'm going to be talking about the fruits of the womb. Brother Yosef, Dreamwise, y'all make sure y'all join us at the Mystic Mind Conference happening July 8th right here in Houston, Texas. Y'all show up, okay? And then he says, as arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. Happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed, but that shall speak with the enemies in the gate. I know I just said a lot, but you probably like, D-Ray, what the hell does all of that mean? What that got to do with me? I'm about to tell you. Here's the thing. When you are overworking and your work is not in alignment with your higher divine self, it is in vain. I think about the Clark sisters. Is my living in vain? Right? Y'all know that. Don't forget about it. Don't throw the baby out with the bath water. Is my giving in vain? Ooh. Am I wasting my time? I am taking y'all to church. Have I made 99? What comes next? Let me see if y'all know. What comes next? All you Southern Baptists. No. Of course not. Hey, it's not all in vain. Why? Boom. The upper road is eternal gain. Okay, I'm taking y'all to church, but I'm done. I'm done taking y'all to church. Okay, let's get to it. What that Bible, so many of us have once before been doing work that was not in alignment with our higher divine self, and it was in vain. Okay? See, the way that I was thinking last Thursday, I'm washing them dishes and I'm folding them clothes and I'm feeling some type of way. That was in vain because I wasn't doing it from a place of love. See, when you are in alignment with your higher divine self, what you do is from a place of love, and therefore it is fruitful and it births a reward. But how many of y'all know that a lot of times you staying up late at night? You waking up 5 o'clock in the morning because you're like, oh, I got to grind. I got to get to work. I got to do this. I got to do that. But all the action that you are taking is not in alignment with your higher self. And so you're just spinning your wheels, wasting time, wasting energy. And then when you look up, you are dissatisfied, discontent with life. And it's because that whatever it is, it could be your job, it could even be your business, it could be your relationship. If it is not in alignment with your higher self, if it is not in alignment with God, it will be in vain. But I got a gift for you. I got a gift for you. Because y'all know the saying, all things work together. Because all things work together, even in those moments where you find yourself doing things that are not fruitful, there's still a gift in it for you if you can tap into a higher perspective. See, everything is serving your good. Everything is serving your highest good, even in those times when you are not living from the place of that Christ consciousness. Okay? But you have to have the desire, the mental fortitude, and the spiritual power to choose that you're going to lean into that and discover what that gift is. Okay? That's why that Bible verse said, those who stay up late or wake up early in the morning, it's all in vain if it's not in alignment with the Lord. It's all in vain if it's not in alignment with your higher self. Okay? It's in vain. Okay? But let me tell you how to use that energy, because we've all been there. I've been there before. I was just in that space last week thinking, oh, I'm about to take care of my house. I'm about to do this. I'm about to do that. And I kept on doing stuff, and my house wasn't changing. I'm like, I just washed these dishes. Why are they full again? I just folded these clothes. How do I got all of this laundry again? Well, how is this happening? It's because I wasn't in the right spirit. I wasn't in my higher nature as I was doing it. I was doing it because I felt like I had to do it, because I have to do it, because that makes me valuable. But that's my lower self. That's my old self that felt like cleaning the house, cooking, making money, all of those things makes me valuable. My higher self says, I'm valuable just because I exist. My higher self says, I'm valuable just because I am here and I'm connected and I'm tuned in with my higher self, because I'm tuned into God, because I am living as a goddess right now in this lifetime. That's what makes me valuable. Not anything that I do or say makes me valuable. My being makes me valuable. So all of that stuff I was doing last week, trying to take care of the house, trying to do this, trying to do that, it was in vain because I felt like I had to do it to prove to myself that I was worthy of the life that I live. Check. Check. So here's how to take those situations and give them a higher perspective and a higher understanding. Here's what you do. Here's what you do. You got to meditate on it. And you literally have to ask, how does this, so let's rewind. You have to get reconnected to the vision that your higher self, God, has placed on you and your life for you to live. See, honey, let me tell y'all just facts, okay? I've been a woman of leisure. I've been a woman of leisure, okay? Even at jobs that I worked, honey, it was never hard work. It was never hard work. I never had to, of course, I had to stretch myself in some spaces and places, but I never had that experience where I was like, oh, I hate this job. I've always been a woman of leisure. I've always been able to leave my job 2 hours earlier than everybody else and get there later than everybody else. That's just my reality. I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to deny it to make anybody comfortable. That's just what it is. So I've always been that woman of leisure, okay? But the programming, all right, would make me question if that was okay to be, all right? So what you have to understand is, what is the vision for your life? And the vision for my life is to be a woman of leisure and still live prosperously and abundantly. The vision for my life is to love on my children, love on my household, love on my husband, love on myself, to love on my communities, to show up in powerful and impactful ways. That is the vision for my life. So you first have to have a clear vision, If you want to lean more into your higher self, you first have to have a clear vision of what God, the divine, has in store for your life. Like, really ask yourself that question. Do you know how you are meant to live and who you are meant to be? Because like I said, I never worked hard. Okay? I just gotta, that's just the truth. Which that's the thing that I still battle with that though. It's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. I'm telling y'all the truth. Because in times when I need to put in the extra work, there can be a battle there, right? And I'm just telling y'all the truth. But spiritually, that's how I'm supposed to live. I'm just supposed to live from a place of power and impact. My words, my energy, my presence is what attracts the abundant life that I live. But everybody's not the same. Okay? So that's a part of the vision for my life. Show up in my power, take care of myself, love on others. I love on people. I love on people. I nourish people. I give a lot to people spiritually, emotionally, mentally. I activate people. So for me, it's not about a lot of heavy physical lifting. It's not about a lot of physical work. It's about when I am connecting with you, how do I feed your spirit? How do I activate you? How do I help you to recognize and realize the God that dwells inside of you? That is my work. That is the vision for my life. So you have to have that vision for your life, whatever your vision is, right? Everybody's vision is different. Everybody's vision is different. But when you are trying to align more with your higher self and rise up in your Christ consciousness, you have to be clear of that vision. You have to be clear. Come on, Spirit. You have to see yourself the way God sees you. You have to see your life from the perspective of how God sees your life. Because like I said, there is no such thing as good or bad or right or wrong. That doesn't really exist. Everything just is, okay? So you have to have a clear vision for your life. The next step is you have to allow your day-to-day actions, feelings, words that you speak, thoughts that you think, you have to discipline yourself to align with that vision. Do we understand? Okay? You have to allow that vision to guide your daily life. Do we understand? Okay? So even if you are in a job that you don't like, or your relationship didn't work out, or you are experiencing some sort of challenges, some sort of tribulations, when you tap in with your higher divine mind, you can say, God, higher self, how does this serve my vision? Okay? I've told y'all this story before. I worked, come on. I could tell y'all so much shit, so much trauma that I've experienced that has led me to be right here, right now. But I had to ask for that clarity of mind and that clarity of heart to be able to identify how, though something may felt in vain, okay? Though the sexual abuse may have felt in vain, it serves my higher good because now I get to teach womb alchemy. Now I get to teach womb healing. Now I get to teach tapping into that divine feminine energy. Now I get to be a mother to beautiful daughters. That traumatic experience, though in the moment feels like it is in vain, it serves my purpose. I worked as a PE aide, y'all. I worked as a PE aide making $600 every 2 weeks. $600 every 2 weeks, and I had a bachelor's degree, right? Which, you would think, oh, you got a bachelor's degree, you're supposed to make some money. Not in this reality, right? So I was making $600 as a PE aide every 2 weeks, right? And I'm grateful for it. But in the moment, as I was working that job, being at that school, giving up to all of these badass kids, I'm like, what is all of this for? Why am I doing all of this? But when I understood the vision, When I understood that I was being prepared to be a head volleyball coach, to teach high school, but ultimately when I understood that I needed that in order for me to be here right now, I was able to recognize the blessing and the gift of that experience. Okay? So once you have a clear vision, how do you know if the vision is real? Okay? How do you know if the vision is real? You will know that the vision is real because there's a certain resonance, a vibration, and a deep level of peace and love that comes from being connected and being aware of that vision. Okay? When it was given to me spiritually that I needed to teach, that I needed to public speak, that I needed to be a light for people who were tapping into spirituality and wanting to understand who is God, what does that mean, how do I live as that, how do I connect with that, how do I live from a place of power, how do I heal my trauma, how do I let go of the abuse that I've experienced, how do I tap into my power. When I got the download and the realization that that's who I'm meant to be, there was a certain ease, peace, flow, love, and knowing that took place. And so if you don't have that, if you don't have that peace, that knowing, that certainty that is connected to a vision, then you're probably operating from a place of survival, which is connected to the lower self, which is connected to the lower nature. Okay? So once you feel that, and you can get these answers through your meditation, through your prayer, through your visualization. These are things that you have to do. It's a non-negotiable. But once you see that vision and you feel that feeling and you get that confirmation, you will get the confirmation. Somebody random coming up to you, gonna say something random as hell, but you're gonna be like, yes, that's what I needed to hear. For example, let me give y'all a great example of this. My sis on here, Naturally Natured, Tashika, shout out to her. Last week we did the Sacred Sister Circle podcast. And when we got off the podcast, sis was like, yeah, sis, I'm seeing something, because sis is spiritual. She like me. We be channeling. We be knowing things. And sis was like, I don't know, sis, but something is telling me that you need to be opening up the Bible, reading some verses, and helping people to understand what it really means for them on this spiritual path. And I'm like, okay, sis, I hear you. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, like I tell everybody else that I do readings for and that I coach, don't take anything that I say just straight to heart and automatically do it. Ask your spirit, ask your higher self, ask God for the confirmation. So that's what I did. I said, okay, spirit, I heard Tashika, but give me the confirmation because I don't know. I want to know for sure. Yes, on Monday in the Sacred Sister Circle, we're talking, and one of my Sacred Sister Circle members brings up this word. She says bibliomancy. And I was about to just let it pass me by, but I came back to it. I said, sis, what did you just say? She said bibliomancy. I said, what does that mean? And she said, oh, it's when you put your hand over the Bible or you flip pages of the Bible, and when your intuition tells you to stop, you stop and then you read it. I was like, damn, that's confirmation. Because that's not something we just talking about, right? That's not something we just doing. So she gave me that confirmation. So as you are trying to figure out your vision for your life, you're going to get a download. You're going to get information. You're going to get an understanding. You're going to see the ways in which you are supposed to rise up into your Christ consciousness. Okay? Maybe you're supposed to be a leader. Maybe you're supposed to be a coach. Maybe you're supposed to be a healer. Maybe you are a birth worker. Maybe who knows what it is that you are meant to do. But once you get that feeling, that knowing, ask your higher self, ask God that dwells inside of you, give me a confirmation or validation that this is it. And then when you get that, you allow your life to be led by that vision. Okay? And as you allow your life to be led by that vision, this keeps you grounded in your higher self. Okay? This keeps you grounded in your higher self. This keeps you moving in the direction that God, you, that divine sacred energy that dwells inside of you, this keeps you connected. This keeps you accountable. This keeps you moving and living from a place of power. Okay? Check. Let's get a check. Let's get a check. Let's get a 1. Let's get a I feel you, sis. I hear you, sis. We here. We got it. Okay? Let me know. When you get the vision, that vision should govern how you show up on a daily basis. Now, because we are spiritual beings having a human experience, you're going to teeter. One day, like I said, one day you're going to be a superhero. You on your shit. You saving people. You are just magical. And then there are going to be days where influences are going to happen. Maybe you ate the wrong food and your stomach hurting and you can't even, you got the bubble guts. Y'all been there before. This just happened to me like 3 weeks ago. I'm like, ooh, I'm on my stuff. I'm getting, my stomach started hurting. I was like, I ain't doing nothing. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to help nobody. I don't want to put my cape on today. Okay. So that's going to happen. That's going to happen. But you don't want to stay there long, right? You don't want to stay there long. You want to always come back to self. You want to come back to that higher self, come back to your higher nature. Something else you have to do. Family. You have to meditate and you have to practice mindfulness. You have to meditate and you have to practice mindfulness. Ever since last Thursday, I've been meditating every day at 6:30 in the morning, every day. And let me tell you something so powerful about it. Like when I was in my ego, waking up at 6:30, I don't know if I want to do that. That's going to feel like too much. I don't know. I don't know if I want to make that commitment. But when you align with God, your higher self, making that commitment is easy. Why? Because you're not relying on your human. This is that divine will that comes through and that supports you in showing up in that sacred way. All right? It's not me. Y'all, I don't have no alarm set that is waking me up at 6:30. My higher self in that vision, the vision that I have for my life and what I'm doing and what I'm creating, that's what's waking me up at 6:30. It ain't no alarm. It ain't Desiree. Because if it was up to Desiree would not wake up at 6:30. That's just not me. I be feeling like I need to sleep till like 8:30. But baby, every day since last Thursday, I'm getting up. It's 6 o'clock. And I'm like, oh, okay, spirit, whatever. Let me just close my eyes. It's 6 o'clock. Honey, my spirit wakes 6:15. Oh, okay, 6:15. I close my eyes, 6:30. All right, I'm like, all right, I'm up. Let me put on my meditation music. Go ahead and meditate. How does that happen? 1, miracles are real. That's 1. 2, because I've decided that I'm going to invest in my higher self, because I've decided I am going to align with that vision for my life, I'm allowing that divine energy and presence that dwells within me, I'm allowing it to wake me up. Hold me accountable. Hold me accountable to who I'm becoming and who I need to be for me to prosper, for me to thrive, and for me to live the powerful life that I'm meant to live. I got shit to do. I got things to do, and so do you. You have cosmic things to do, divine things to do, consciousness shifting things to do. Okay? And so you got to get up. You got to meditate. Okay? You got to meditate and you have to practice mindfulness, meaning you are aware of how you are thinking in the moment. Mindfulness is about, are my thoughts right now in alignment with my higher divine self, or am I leaning more into my lower nature? That is mindfulness. Mindfulness is, am I leaning into that divine aspect of me that has faith, that is trusting, that knows, that doesn't worry, that is moving in a state of power? that is being conscious and intentional about the thoughts that I am keeping. Is that where I'm at? Or am I in my lower nature and I'm just not mindful at all? Not mindful at all, letting whatever thoughts come into my head, just letting them be, even though you know damn well some of them ways you are thinking is not in alignment with God. You thinking lack, you worrying, you in a state of fear. That goes back to that Bible verse, Psalms 127, 1-5. That goes back to that Bible verse, Psalm 27, 1-5. Literally, it says, if you are restless, if you can't sleep, you're not trusting in your higher self. If you don't go to sleep at night, if you tossing and turning, we've been there before. I've been there before where I'm stressed or I'm anxious and I'm worried and I'm tossing and turning. I'm tossing and turning, can't sleep. That means you're leaning more into your lower nature than your higher nature. That means you're leaning more into fear than you are leaning into faith, knowing, love, trust that everything is going to work out in your favor. If you can't sleep at night and you are not well rested, you are not living from a space of trust and knowing that God, the divine, the universe, source, whatever term you use, is going to ensure that you are divinely provided for. Okay? A baby sleeps good at night because a baby know, hey, my mama taking care of me, my daddy taking care of me, I got my milk, I'm good, I'm sleeping good. That's why babies, when they sleep, honey, they take up the whole bed. Legs be everywhere. They be hitting you, rolling over and doing all types of stuff because they trust that they're going to eat the next day. They trust that they're going to have somewhere to sleep. They trust that they're going to be provided for. Okay? So that was a whole side note. But meditation and mindfulness, you have to spend time connecting to your higher divine self so that you can get more clarity on that vision and so that the actions that you take throughout your day are inspired or they are in spirit. You want the things that you do on a daily basis to be inspired, to be in spirit, to be in alignment with your higher divine self. When your actions are in alignment with your higher divine self, this is where miracles, magic, mysticism, money, miraculous, this is where beautiful, abundant things are birthed from. Okay? So you have to meditate and practice mindfulness so that you have clarity on who you are being and how you are showing up in any given moment. Without meditation and without mindfulness, it's easy to self-sabotage and backtrack into your lower nature, into your lower self, into the lack, into the not having enough, being enough, not doing enough, all of that stuff like that. It's easier to revert back into that state of being. Here's why. Because you've been your lower self for longer than you've been in alignment with your higher self. That's just what it is. That's the human experience. Okay? You've been attached more to the trauma, to the trial, than you have to the triumph, to the victory. Okay? So it's always easier to revert back to what is comfortable than it is to live in what is uncomfortable, but in what is more in alignment. See, alignment with your higher self, it may be uncomfortable because it requires you to stretch. It requires you to think thoughts that you haven't been thinking. It requires you to feel emotions that you haven't been feeling. It requires you to behave in ways that you aren't used to behaving in. And that is why mindfulness is essential, because through mindfulness, you get to ask yourself, am I being her or am I being her? Okay? Am I being that girl or am I being that girl? Do we understand? Okay. Meditation and mindfulness, absolutely necessary. Let me see what y'all are talking about in here. The last thing that I want to share with y'all, and then I'm going to talk to y'all and see what y'all talking about in the chat. If you have any questions, let me know. I want to talk to you. Put some questions in the chat. We're going to talk about it. The last thing that I want to share with you is that you have to get into a space and a phase where all you see is victory, where all you see is triumph, where all you see is you are victorious, you're winning. You got to get into that spirit. You got to get into that phase. And let me tell you something. If you on that wave, come sit with me, okay? Come sit with me. Come be with me. We here. If you're on that wave, if you are on the wave where all you see is victory, all you see is triumph, all you see is wins, then we in this thing together. But if not, family, if you are surrounded by people who are not seeing victory, who are not seeing wins, who are not seeing triumph, these are people that you need to limit your engagement with because their lower nature, oh, come on, spirit, they can see, some people recognize light, but they can't handle the glare. Some people recognize light, but they cannot handle the glare. Meaning they see you winning, they see you thriving, smiling, you moving in your higher self, but they can't observe, they can't receive that. They can't receive that. So you have to limit your engagement and interaction with these people because they will subconsciously and unconsciously sabotage what you got going on. So you need to get into a phase where all you see is victory. You need to surround yourself with people who see triumph, who see you winning, who see the positive of your situation. You need to surround yourself with people who can hear whatever it is that you're doing, who can see whatever it is that you're doing with a spiritual eyesight and with a spiritual ear, and they can speak life into your situation. They can see how your situation is serving your highest good rather than taking away from it. Okay? You don't want those influences. You don't want people around you who remind you of lack, of not being enough, of not having enough, of not being good enough. You don't need that in your space. Because now, not only are you battling them, right? Because we're all in the internal battle. It's all an inner battle that's happening. The light versus the dark, the higher self versus lower self, God versus the devil, angels versus demons. You are already in a battle with your damn self. You don't need to be fighting other people. You don't need to be fighting other people for you to live from that space of Christ consciousness. So you have to be very deliberate about who you are spending your time with. Shout out to the Patreon family. Shout out to the Sacred Sister Circle, because every time we connect, every time we talk to each other, it is upliftment. It is empowerment. It is love. And it is a reminder that you can do this, that you are victorious, that you've already won, that you are a sacred being and there is divinity inside of you, and that everything is serving your highest good. Everything is serving your purpose. Okay? Don't be around people that remind you of lack and not being enough and that da. No, cut them off. Cut them off. Okay? I release you in love. That's the affirmation. I release you in love. I release you in love. I surrender. I release you in love. I release you in love. I release you in love. And when you're ready to appreciate the light, I'm going to still be shining. I'm going to still be shining, okay? All right. Let's get into some questions. I got a question over here. Rose in the dark. Okay, I'm assuming that's what that says. Is the vision for your life the same thing as your purpose? Lovely, lovely question. I love that question. Is the vision for your life the same thing as your purpose? Yes and no. Yes and no. The vision for your life, within the vision for your life is your purpose. But there are some visions, right? There's a part of the vision of your life that may not have anything to do with your purpose. Like a part of the vision of my life is I see myself traveling with my kids and taking them to foreign lands and allowing them to see and explore different things. That's not necessarily my purpose, but that's a part of the vision. Okay? My purpose in life is to empower, uplift, to teach, to guide, and to help people, specifically women, to recognize the power and the divinity that dwells inside of them. My purpose is to uplift, to encourage, and to activate greatness in people, to activate that God energy in people. So that, of course, is a part of my vision because I see myself standing on stage, holding a microphone and delivering a message like I'm doing right now. So your your purpose is integrated into your vision. Your purpose is in alignment with your vision. Your vision and your purpose, they support each other. Okay? They support each other. But your vision encompasses everything in your life, not just the divine, sacred reason why you exist here today. See, your purpose is why you were born. And something so juicy, your purpose changes based off your season, based off the season you are in life. At one point in time, my purpose was strictly to focus on birthing my kids. I wasn't focused on talking to people, teaching people, guiding people. I was focused on being pregnant and birthing healthy children. Okay? That was just my purpose at the time. I couldn't focus on anything else. And then I shifted into, okay, now you're mothering, you're wifing, but now you need to get into that cosmic purpose and how you are supposed to impact other people. Matter of fact, I got a video on YouTube. I have a video on YouTube that's called like how to recognize your purpose or something like that. It's so powerful. I suggest going to look at that video for anybody who wants to know more about their purpose because it is an amazing video. So the vision for your life encompasses your purpose and they work together. All right. They work together. I hope that answers your question. Let me know. Can your purpose be just healing for a season? Absolutely. We go into seasons where we're just focused on healing and transforming and becoming our best self. But also understand, this is so good. Also understand that within your healing season, you're learning the lessons that you will ultimately teach other people. You're learning the lessons that you will ultimately give back to other people. So yes, it's a purpose of healing that is for you, but if it's for you, it could also serve other people. Powerful question. Good stuff. Yes, yes, yes. Love that. Love it, love it, love it. Let me move this over so I can see. All right, let me see. Cosmic Creatrix said, boom. How do you build trust with your God/higher self? Ooh, girl, yes, love that question. You build trust by, first of all, a lot of times in religion, you've been taught, don't question God. But that really is coming from people who live in their egos and feel like if you ask them questions, then you're not really trusting and moving in faith. But I build trust with my higher self by questioning God. Hey, you said I'm supposed to do this. Now tell me how it's supposed to work out. Give me the guidance, give me the understanding. Here's what you have to do. You have to ask questions and look for the answers. You build a deeper trust with God, your higher self, by posing a question and asking for the answers to be revealed to you in a way that you can understand. Okay? Reveal to me this answer in a way that I can understand. In a way that I can understand is important because your spirit, God, your higher self, is always talking to you, but oftentimes you can't decode and understand the message, and therefore you lack trust. Something else, okay? I want to make sure I'm clear on that. Give me a check if you understand that. You got to ask questions. Okay? So let's say, for example, you get the download that you need to fast. And you're like, okay, Spirit, tell me why I need to fast. What is this fasting about? Give me some confirmation. Confirmation, that's the word. Synchronicity, that's the word. Okay? And then boom, you on YouTube and somebody brings up fasting. Somebody says, oh, this healing can happen when fasting, so on and so forth. So now a question that you just posed to your higher self, to God, just got answered through your external reality. When that happens, then you get to say, I see you, Spirit. Thank you. I received that answer. But now here's the next thing. The next thing is you have to operate that answer. You got to utilize the answer. You got to put that answer to work so that you can see the result. And then when you get the result, now you say, oh shit, this is really real. See, a lot of times we get the answer, but we don't take the action, and then we're like, God, what happened? Spirit, what happened? Higher self, what happened? Ancestors and angels, what happened? What happened was you didn't act on the information so that you can get the result, so that you can reinforce that trust. Exactly, naturally nature. Test and experiment to build that trust. You have to build the muscle. You got to build the muscle. And let me tell you something that I told a friend of mine like 2 weeks ago. You want to start building up that trust on things that you are not attached to. Because let's say you need answers for a relationship. You need help with discernment and choosing the right partners. But you've had so much toxicity in your relationships. You don't trust your judgment when it comes down to relationships. You don't trust your judgment when it comes down to choosing a partner. So you don't want to go to God, go to your higher self and be like, tell me if this is the person I'm supposed to be with. You don't want to go at it with that energy, because there's already been a program instilled in you that says, I don't trust myself when it comes down to relationships. Trusting God, trusting your higher self is simply trusting your intuition. This is a really good question. It gets deep. It's simply trusting your intuition. But a lot of times there's a battle between ego and spirit, ego and intuition. The ego has been so reinforced by trauma. The ego has been so reinforced by your past that it's easier to believe the memory of who you used to be than to trust who you are being asked to become. Let me say it again. It is easier for you to trust your memories, your past experiences, than it is for you to trust this new, foreign, unknown, uncertain energy. So this is why you don't want to start building up that trust, building up that strength, self-power, self-assertiveness. You don't want to start by focusing on something that you've already had too much trauma in, because it's like a losing battle. So you want to start with something that you're not so attached to. You want to start off. So let's say we're talking about relationships. Don't start there. You probably need to start by saying, what should I eat today? Give me a confirmation on what I should eat today that is going to make me feel good, empowered, energetic, active, whatever. Start there, because you don't care so much about it. It's not that serious. And then let's say Spirit says, go to Chipotle, get you a little salad bowl. You go and you get Chipotle, you eat your little salad bowl and it tastes good and you feel good. And you're like, yes, I like that. Now you're building that muscle. And the more you build that muscle, now you can use that newfound strength in areas of your life where there's more trauma attached to it. All right? Let me get a check. Because that was a great question. And that is going to support somebody. That is going to support not only you who asked the question, but everybody else. Very powerful question. Thank you for asking that question, Cosmic Creatrix. Okay. You got to build the muscle, but don't build the muscle on something where you've already had such intense trauma from. Build the muscle on something that you're not so attached to, and then go back to that heavy thing. All right. Yes. Naturally Nature said, where did your vision come from? Your mind, your ego, your heart, your knowing. If it aligns, it's divines. Oh, that's so good. That is such a good question. You want to know the thing about a powerful vision? The thing about a powerful vision is that ultimately the mind and the heart will be in alignment, right? The mind and the heart will be in agreement with that vision. But it starts in the heart, okay? It starts in the heart. And when I'm talking about the mind, I'm talking about the divine mind, all right? I'm talking about those thoughts that are of love, that are of power, that are of God, right? That are of that Christ consciousness, not the ego. See, the ego will be on Instagram, all right? The ego will be on Instagram, and you see somebody on vacation, and you like, ooh, I want that. You see somebody in a relationship, you like, ooh, I want that. Ooh, God, yes, ooh, please give me that. I want that in my life. You don't know what them people had to do to go on that vacation. You don't know what their relationship actually embodies. You don't know anything about what's really going on, but your ego sees something as favorable. Your ego sees something as good because you're comparing yourself to others. And now you desire that, but that desire is not really in alignment with the vision. Okay? So the vision actually starts from your heart being connected and centered and tuned in with your higher divine self. It starts in the heart. It's a feeling, it's a knowing, it's a resonance. See, a lot of times people be thinking in their minds, oh yeah, that look like that'll feel good. Oh yeah, that look like that'll be fun. That's ego. You know something is a part of your vision when it sends a peace, a ease, a flow throughout your body. And so what you need to do is you need to cultivate that thing by asking questions. Here's something beautiful. Here's something beautiful. Your vision, you've been living in it. You just have been misperceiving it. Because all of your experiences support the vision for your life. Okay? Who I was as a child supports who I am today. But I just had to cultivate the right mentality, the right heart to be able to see that, to be able to observe that, and to be able to live in that. Who I am today, shit, I knew her when I was damn 6 and 7 years old. And then all of the traumas, experiences, abuse, all of those things is what clouded my vision and clouded my judgment. So understand this. You already know your vision. But your ego will make you feel like, no, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. No, I don't know who I'm supposed to be. No, I don't know how I'm supposed to live. Again, that goes back to being attached to your old self, to your trauma, to your lower self, all of that good stuff. That's what you are attached to. When you get connected to that God energy that dwells inside of you, you move from a certain place of knowing and you trust the vision. You allow the vision to continue to unfold before your eyes. You allow that vision to continue to bloom. Okay? It's always been with you, but you got to get out of the trauma. You got to get out of the attachment to who you used to be, to your past experiences. You got to get out of the attachment to that so that you can see. Okay? That's why I said earlier, you have to start seeing yourself and seeing your life through the lens of God and not through the lens of trauma. Not through the lens of not being good enough, not through the lens of not being worthy enough, not through the lens of not being valuable enough, not through the lens of being unliked and unlovable. All of those things are attached to an old state of being that is not who you truly are, but those things serve who you are meant to be. So if you need to get clear on your vision, start by asking yourself, asking your higher self, who am I? How am I supposed to live? How am I supposed to show up? And you allow the images, the feelings, you allow those things to rise up. You allow those things to become present with you. And when you tap into an image that sends peace and ease throughout your heart and throughout your body, you know you hit the mark. Okay? You know you hit the mark. Thank you for that. Thank you for that question. Powerful, powerful question. Let's see. And yes. All of these things take practice. Nicole French says, what if spirit clearly tells you something, but there are so many blockages where it's not happening? Perspective. You know, only we perceive blockages. Blockages are actually opportunities. It simply means there's still something for you to learn, operate, and integrate into your being. If it's a blockage, that means there's a lesson that you have not learned. Here's a great example. When I was working as a teacher, okay, I was working as a teacher, and I was just like, God, I have this desire. I have this vision. I know that this is what I'm supposed to do. I know I'm supposed to teach women. I know I'm supposed to be a guide for healing. I know I'm supposed to do public speaking, but I'm still at this school. What is going on? And I was feeling blocked. I was like, why are things not shifting? Why are things not happening? And essentially the blockage, right? The blockage, air quotes, the blockage or the delay was, at the time, I wasn't even fully confident and assertive in my ability to fulfill the vision. Okay? So you think you have Spirit has given you a manifestation or a desire that you are supposed to bring forth and birth and give light to. You got to ask yourself, do you truly feel equipped to do it? And the perceived blockage, come on, Spirit, the perceived blockage is the exercise necessary for you to become strong enough to live in the vision. Honey, your girl is tapped in. Let me say it again for you, for those of you who missed it. You have a vision. You have a manifestation. You have something that Spirit says this is for you to do. The blockage that shows up in your life is actually an opportunity for you to develop the skills necessary to inhabit the vision and the manifestation. You don't want to manifest and not be prepared. You don't want to manifest something and not have the skills to withhold it and sustain it. Otherwise, you manifest and it just leaks through your hands. Think about that. Think about the millionaires, right? Or the lottery winners who manifest $1 million, but they never learned how to manage, multiply, and make money. They don't know how to do it. So now they manifest the millions of dollars, and within a year or two, all the millions have leaked through their hands because they didn't have the skills to really embody that. So stop seeing the delays in your manifestation as a blockage. It's actually an opportunity because there's still things that need to be developed inside of you. Okay? That's all it is. It's an opportunity for development, for growth, for evolution, and for you to embody the skills, the energy, and the confidence that is necessary in order for you to be who you were called to be. So that's how you got to perceive your life. That's how you got to perceive your circumstances. That's how you have to perceive the situations that show up. Okay? This is all, this whole earthly realm is just a damn school. That's it. And you come in contact with the right people and the right information, so on and so forth, that support you in your graduation. All right? Are there any more questions before I get off of here? Dream and I are going to go to the gym. We're going to do some back squats. I'm trying to, I'm trying to get my squat on, build some muscle, build some booty, all of that stuff like that, getting ready. Any more questions? Listen, I know today was a lot, okay? I know this was a lot, but I trust that it was everything that we all needed, right? Everything that I just shared with you is everything that was shared with me. Kay, the goddess girl, you're going to have to go back and listen to this, girl. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to have to go back and listen to it because this right here, sis, this right here, I haven't went live on YouTube like this in like 3 weeks or something like that. And so there was a lot that needed to be said. Tap in, sis. He talking about F the gym. No, we going to the gym, okay? You go through ish for your testimony to inspire others. Exactly, because I'm telling y'all, just last Thursday, your girl was crying, baby. Your girl was crying, but I am so empowered today. I am so empowered today. I've been on my shit for the last few days, and I had to experience it so I can share it with you all. And let me tell y'all something. You have to share your story. You have to share your story. Stop being ashamed of your story. Side note, stop being afraid of making mistakes. Stop running away from mistakes. That shit keeps you locked down. It keeps you blocked. It keeps you from learning the lessons you need to learn for you to be who you need to be. You got to be okay with making mistakes, with not getting it right. You got to be okay with things going wrong, but knowing and understand that it's all a building block. So stop running away from it. Face it, try it, do it, be it, allow it, surrender, and watch things just show up. Watch it just work out on your behalf. This boy talking about the gym is the devil. I cannot stand you. Why? Why are you like this? That's you. That's my man, and I'm going to stick beside him. I really love that little saying. That's my man. This is your man? Yeah, that's my man, and I'm going to stick beside him. Have y'all seen that Dr. Phil? Was that Dr. Phil? I think it was him. I will share my stories no matter what because it will help somebody. Exactly, Shay. And that's how you build up your spiritual bank account. I know that a part of one of the key ingredients that helps Dream and I to sit before you and do this work and to continue to experience what people may say luck and fortune and just like miracles, a part of that is sharing our story, right? Is allowing ourselves to be vulnerable because, words are healing, words are transformative, words can shift your reality. Words actually transmute karma. When you share something, you are transmuting some karma, right? And so when you do that, it allows you to be showered in the overflow of the healing and transformation that other people are experiencing. And so when you keeping it to yourself, Lauryn Hill said this. She said, the ditch you dig for them, you might just end up in yourself. I'm in the secret space. I keep a sacred place. They keep throwing they something, but keep hiding. They keep showing their hands, but keep hiding their face. If I'm the messenger, you block me, then you block the message, right? So a lot of times we keep things to ourselves because we're like, I don't want other people to get this goodness. I don't want other people to da-da-da-da-da, or I don't want other people to judge me or whatever. And you digging a ditch for them by not allowing them to rise up through your testimony and shit. You end up being in that ditch. Hey, let go of the fear of judgment, criticism, whatever. It is what it is. People are going to judge you and criticize you any damn ways. So you might as well get comfortable with it and just be like, give yourself away. Give yourself away to be used for the highest good, for the greater good. All right? All right, y'all. Let me get off of here because I want to make it to the gym on time, even though Dream is saying he F the gym. I know we still going. I love y'all. Thank y'all for being here with me. And I'll see y'all next time. Make sure y'all join us on Patreon. Make sure y'all, I don't know what I'm going to do next. I don't know, y'all. Hold on. I just had a thought about reopening the Sacred Sister Circle. I had that thought earlier. So I'm going to think about that. Naturally Nature said, can I tell you, as soon as we finished the interview last week, immediately after, I got 10 sales in my shop. Wow. Exactly. That's power. Yeah. I'm thinking about reopening the Sacred Sister Circle to allow more women to join. I received that message this morning as I was like washing dishes or something like that. So ladies, stay tuned. That may happen. Let me read one more question. She said, what is the solution for not remembering things and not digging deep into the shadow work? I feel like I can't remember much about my past, which hinders growth. So shift in perspective. If you don't remember a lot about your past, you can perceive it as an opportunity to create your past. And when you create your past, it helps you to create your future, right? If you were a child, you get to tell yourself, and this is just levels to it, but you get to tell yourself, oh, I grew up full of love and abundance and I was shining and I could do anything that I wanted, whatever. And that gets to shape who you are today. Our past shapes who we are today. So if you don't remember your past, you don't have to look at it as something that is hindering you. You can see it as an opportunity for you to choose the type of past you would have wanted to have so that you can be the person you want to be today. Because your past absolutely influences who you are today. Okay? That's one. Two, pay attention to your dreams, because a lot of your memories are showing up in your dream space. But because we be thinking, oh, it's just a dream, it don't mean nothing. No, write them dreams down, because a lot of times what's happening in your dreams are the things that you are afraid to become conscious of in your waking life. All right? There are some things we are afraid to really sit with in our waking life, but we may see it in our dream space. So pay attention to that, observe that, and allow yourself to be present with it. But we'll talk about that on a whole nother day. Kay, you know where to reach me, girl. Send an email or something like that. We could talk about it deeper on a one-on-one basis. All right? I love y'all. Y'all have a great and happy day. And we'll talk soon. Enjoy the solar eclipse that is happening tomorrow. And understand that this is just an opportunity for you to rise up in your Christ consciousness and for you to be who you were designed and destined to be, which is a God, which is a goddess. You are a sacred being, and there is divinity inside of you. Own it. Peace.